Hi everyone, this is Grace of GB Multis, and I had a friend request that I show how to do like a square, or whether it's a scarf or whether it's a blanket or whatever it is that you're making, how to make sure your edges stay straight and you don't just, come out with this thing that keeps getting bigger or going narrow. And those of you who are just beginning, stitch markers are your friend in making those edges nice and straight. And I'll show you what I mean. Look at that. It's got kind of a frayed end, so I'm going to cut that little bit off. Okay, first of all, you always start with your slip knot, and I just make mine. I wrap around my finger. I'll try to make sure I stay in the video, and stick this in here. I am just using some I Love This yarn, and I'm using a K-hook, and I use Susan Bates hooks. I just like them. I like that they grab the yarn easier. I have never crocheted like this on camera, so I'm going to do my best. Don't be too harsh on me. I'm not the fastest crocheter, never claimed to be. I just take my time and just enjoy the process. I'm going to, let's see, I'll chain 10. There's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, there's my last loop right there, and I'm going to put a stitch marker in it. And I'm also going to go back here to the beginning, and I'm going to put a stitch marker in my very first chain. This is going to mark where my row ends, so when I get to the end I'm not having to hunt for it. Okay, I'm going to be doing single crochets. I believe that's what she was doing her blanket in, so I'm going to just chain 1 and turn. Now, a lot of times when I'm crocheting, I will do my single crochets in the back loops, but I'm having a hard time seeing this and making sure I'm in camera, so I'm just going to look for my loops here. Okay, I'm just going to just chain into the loops. Okay, we don't want to go here. We're going to go into this loop where my stitch marker was. I'm going to take the stitch marker, and you really don't have to have it in that very first one. I just wanted to kind of get you familiar with it. You're going to do your first single crochet. Now you must put the stitch marker in there. You're just gonna, you've got your V. Hope you can see what I'm doing. And you're going to put your stitch marker into that first, take this out. You're going to put your stitch marker into that first stitch that you made, because when you come back it's going to be the last stitch. Okay, now I'm just going to go through and I'm going to do single crochets to the end, and I'm just going to take my time doing this so that I don't make a big mess. I'm doing this around my camera, so it's a little strange for me. I haven't practiced doing this before. Maybe I need to practice so that I can do this. And if you have other videos that you want to see done, I'm not the world's best at showing things, but I always like to try to help people if I can. Okay, now I'm here and I have my stitch marker right there. That's showing me that's my last stitch. So I'm going to go ahead and stick that in there. And I'm going to take the stitch marker out. I'm going to go ahead and finish making my single crochet. And I'm going to put my stitch marker that's hiding from me. I'm just going to loosely put it back in there. These are my favorite kind to use. Okay, chain 1, turn back. Okay, and there's your first stitch. You can just slide that out. Once I have made that first stitch, I want to put that stitch marker back in there, because that's going to again be the last chain when I come back around. And that is how you're going to be able to keep your edges straight. Just make sure you don't lose focus of your other chains in the middle. You're always looking for those V's up here. This is mostly for those of you who have been crocheting for a little bit, so you kind of know those things. Okay, so we're just going to chain along, doing our single crochets, and just relaxing and thinking of pleasant thoughts, because crochet to me is very pleasant. And I like to, I was going to say read a book, listen to a book sometimes, or else I listen to YouTube, or I may, depends on what I'm doing, if I have to really focus. Okay, look, I'm back where that stitch is. And I was talking, so I didn't have to think about where the last stitch is. Okay, I'm going to do, I'll take this out, because I know it's my last one. I'm going to make that single crochet, and I'm just going to slip this back in, just in case you're worried about not finding the first stitch again. Okay, that, and now there's the stitch. I'm going to stick it in there, pull this out, and I know you're thinking, oh my gosh, why all that process? Well, it's better to do that than to have to frog it, because you've got something that you started out with that was 10 inches and then it ends up being 15 inches. And this is good practice. Now I don't have to do that. When I first started, I used those stitch markers, and let me tell you, it saved me a lot of trouble. But once you are able to figure out where that last stitch is, because you'll get the hang of it the more you crochet, you're going to start seeing where those stitches are. And my stitch, and while I was talking, I didn't have to even think about where that last one was. There it is. And let me take that one out. And there's my single crochet. I'm just going to slide it in. And you can use any kind of stitch marker. Some people use safety pins or whatever makes you happy. You use that. But just practice doing this for a few rows before you start on a big project. Okay, there's that where that one was. I'm going to make my stitch, come around, get my stitch marker, hiding under the camera, and just put it back where that stitch is. And I'm going to keep moving happily and merrily along, just like this. And it's, like I said, the more practice you do, the easier it will get. Because, oh my gosh, I remember when I first started making a scarf, it was it was embarrassing. I wouldn't have given that to anyone. I didn't wear it myself, but it was for practice. Once I started using stitch markers, that is what helped me keep them straight at that point. But like I said, once you've been crocheting for a while, it will get easier and you won't have to do so much of this type of thing. And this will work on any stitch you're using. It does not matter. You just put that stitch in the last stitch, whether you're doing single, half double, double crochets, triple crochets, it doesn't matter. You're just going to put it in that the first stitch you do and in your last stitch. because that first stitch is going to end up being your last stitch at some point in time. But this is, it's very easy. Very, very easy to, let me pull a little more yarn. That's hard to, it's real hard to crochet, and yeah, see, I nearly pulled my stitch out. Well, I did. Let me get it back. There we go. I pulled it all the way back to where, to the beginning, but that's okay, because I can still kind of see where that hole was for that first stitch. And make a single crochet, put it in there, and when I make mistakes, I usually just leave them in there because we all make mistakes, and I think it's good to see how to correct it. So I hope this kind of helps you a little bit in your crochet adventures. I'll just do this one more time, because you can always rewind this, stop it, slow it down, delete it, whatever. Well, I guess you can't delete it, but don't delete me. But if you have other questions about crochet, or even diamond painting, or anything else that you might think of that I might be able to help you with, I'd be more than happy to help you. Put that in there. I'm just going to slide this back in real quick. And there we go. And I'm just going to chain up one. Go back where that stitch is. Pull it out. Do a single crochet. Put it back in. And your edges are going to stay the same, as you can see. They're going to come out and be just fine. Just keep using your stitch markers, and I tell you what, I'm going to turn this off for a minute, and I'll do a few more rows. You do a few more rows while I'm off, and I'll show you what I get done. I'll be back in a minute. Okay. I've been crocheting for just a few minutes, and as you can see, the edges are nice and even. I can make this as long as I want. If I want to put a border, if you want to know how to do a border on something like this, I can show you that. That's simple. You could put a simple crochet border, and it gives it even a more finished look than this. But you just keep on going on and going on. Just mark your first and last. And I've been crocheting and doing this for long enough. I don't have to use these any longer. But let me tell you, they were a lifesaver when I first started doing this type of thing. I hope I answered any questions that you might have had. This will work for any stitch that you're doing. And like I said, if you have any questions or want to know more, here's one that I did, that I did put a single crochet edge around, just to give it a more finished look. And I was doing half double crochet and other stitches in there, so that's just another one I just was playing around with. But just keep practicing. Enjoy your crochet, and I hope this helped you a little bit. If you want me to show you how to do something else, please just ask. I am more than happy to do what I can. Like I said, I'm not the best, but I will try and show you whatever it is you would like to see. Of course, I can't do patterns that don't belong to me. I have had someone ask me to do twiddle muffs from the beginning and show the different stitches, and if y'all are interested in me doing that, I would be more than happy and show you different things that I put on them. But I hope you're having a fantastic day and that you have a great weekend. It's Friday when I'm making this video anyway. I'm not sure when I'll put it up. It'll be either tonight or tomorrow. But you have a blessed day. Take care. Love you guys. Bye.